Hi, Chinar.
Hi, Nikita. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the Seattle weather?
Yeah, Seattle, like you always know, it's rainy. It's like we had some sunlight a few hours back, but now it's again gloomy. So yeah, how's you? Like, how's everything with you? Like, it must be yeah, you are California, based out California, right?
Yeah, I'm currently in California enjoying the sun.
Lucky you. Yeah. Yeah, so hi everyone. Today we have Chinar Arora with us, and she's basically currently working as data and applied scientist. If I'm not wrong, that's her title, and she's currently working with Microsoft in Redmond office, where previously she has also worked as intern. So before that, she kind of did her masters in business analytics from University of Texas Dallas, and also she was working in India with Cognizant. So over to you, Chinar. Please, we would love to hear from you about yourself, how like you came to US, what was your background, how you moved into data scientist, and then definitely would love to share some tips around resumes, your profile and everything. What exactly like helped you to get into Microsoft? So over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nikita. I did my undergraduate in computer science engineering from Lovely Professional University back in India. And after that, I joined Cognizant and I worked there for 2 years. I worked on two projects there. First one was with Intuit, where I created web crawlers to scrape information from the bank's website and provide it to the customer. And the second project that I did was for the Automation Hub GTO, which was where I actually got interested into machine learning and analytics. This is where I worked on a classic text classification problem where we needed to provide tickets to their respective service levels. So it's a classic natural language processing problem, and that's why I got more interested into machine learning. And I thought, why not learn it in a well defined and a structured way? And then I decided to do my masters in business analytics with data science as my specialization, and I came to UTD. So that is the like turning point where I actually made a decision to move to US to pursue my graduation. So I completed my graduation in 1.5 years, and during that course of time, I worked on a lot of academic projects, not that were only assigned to me by the university, but that which I took on by myself from Kaggle and various competitions that were held in the university. And so yeah, that is how I kept improving by working on more and more projects with my friends. And so when I want to talk about how I got into Microsoft, maybe that was like a lot of rejections came before I actually got into Microsoft. So that's a whole lot of events before I got into Microsoft.
So, like, how, because Fang is something specifically Microsoft is like something, a dream company for a lot of people, right? Like, a lot of people want to get into, especially into Microsoft, who are a proper, maybe software engineer, data scientist. So, what and how did you apply it? Like, or did you get a referral, or like how things worked out for you in terms of, because you started as an intern, right? So, how you started, like, do you apply through university, or you applied through referral or direct application through their website, like what actually worked for you, and then how was the process, like the whole process? And definitely we would love to hear from you how you converted your internship of few months into a full-time role.
Yeah, so I applied to the classic way of going to the website's portal and applying to the for the internship. I was applying for other companies and I had been rejected earlier by AT&T, Capital One, JP Morgan, and I had a couple of offers too. But I applied to the company website, and the most important thing that I would like recommend before applying for a job description would be actually to tune in your resume according to the job description. That is what I did. I tuned each and every resume of mine according to the job description. That's what I did for Microsoft. And I got a call the very next day I applied for it. And that was because I was very active when it came to the job being posted on the website or any portal for that matter, I enabled alerts on my on the website and made sure that I apply as soon as the job came in. So I was lucky on that, and I got a call next day, and then I had a phone interview which went out for about 30 minutes, and that was more about a behavioral interview where they asked me questions about my resume, and they actually wanted to get to know you as a person and your background. After that, I had 4 rounds of interview, which was after 2 weeks, and those 4 interviews were one of them was based on a whiteboard, which was based on programming. The second was based on statistics and probability, like classic probability questions that you face. The third one was more about machine learning problems and how I could apply them, and how what are the different algorithms. And the third one and the fourth one was using data science to solve Azure networking problems. So currently, I'm a part of Azure networking org, which is part of Azure Core in Microsoft. So the final interview was with the principal manager, who wanted to see how we could use data science in solving different problems in Azure core networking.
Got it. I think that, I mean, that's like turn of interview rounds even for an intern. Like I never knew that they take so many n number of rounds even for an intern. That's really good to hear from you in detail what exactly the rounds were. So like when you said that you directly applied and you got a call within 24 hours, like within a day or something. So how much time you took to refine your resume or make sure that your resume is like tuned to the job description, because you mentioned that it should be aligned, right? So how you align? And on the same hand, a lot of people ask, like recently also I had this question from one of the person. He was asking me, is there any timeline which generally these companies follow specifically for their internship programs or full-time programs? So should everyone take care of that, because there's a starting date, there's an end date? So do you like for particularly your internship, do you had any deadlines, or it was just like okay, you can go ahead and check it out?
So for me, I applied for a summer internship, which started in May, end of May, and I started applying rigorously by August end in 2018 itself. So I started my process really early when it came to applying for internships, because I was guided really well by my seniors in college, who told me to apply way ahead so that I had enough experience of rejections and learning from the rejections, and then applying those learnings to different interview calls. So one recommendation that I would like to give is, if you're applying for a summer internship, start really ahead. I mean, start August, like as soon as you join your company, your as soon as you join your course program, start working on the different interview calls. I mean, and the thing that you talked about me fine tuning my resume is because, as you know, a lot of companies use applicant tracking system, ATS, and they pick up keywords from your resume. So you want to get picked up in the first shot before even a actual human person reviews your interview resume. So yeah, so I made sure that I was using the right keywords which were used in the job description that was posted, and I made sure that I was tuning every resume of mine according to that job
Got
description.
Got it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And you definitely talked about ATS, which we as a FangPart team also tell our candidates, please make sure that you have that ATS keywords so that you get shortlisted. And to hear from you coming like directly from a mentor who is working in Microsoft and got a call within 24 hours, 24 hours, that is kind of a like a great thing to hear. And definitely that happened just by the resume, like you applied online, there was no referral, there was no jacks basically. So that is like a pure resume thing. So please make sure what Chinar mentioned, you do have those things so that your resume pass through the ATS. We would like love to know like how your internship was there. Like it was 3 months or 6 months, like the whole
Yeah,
internship?
it was a 3 months
In-
internship.
So what exactly happened, and then how you managed to convert it to a full-time role? That like how was the things, and what people should kind of do, the candidates who are viewing this video, what they should do to kind of convert or make sure that at the end of their internship they get a PPO or a like an offer letter, so that they don't have to worry for a full-time role?
Yeah, so the one thing that I made sure was to be really proactive during my entire course of internship. I asked a lot of questions to my manager, to my mentors, and I made sure I was doing enough networking within my team and outside of my team. And when it comes to a problem statement being given to you, which you are supposed to complete by the end of 3 months, I made sure I not only completed that, but also made sure that was put in use. So many a times the intern projects that you see do not go to production, but the project that I worked on was actually a fault localization product, which was about detecting availability drops when it comes to the data path, which is used in the periphery of the network of Microsoft, like the front door of Microsoft. So that project itself was it was a proof of concept, and it also went into production, and that was the thing that actually made a difference. And so not many projects take a fly, so that was one of the turning points for me, because I made sure that it was used by the direct response individual, the on-call engineers, and it helped them to resolve incidents much much faster. So one thing would be to understand the problem that was given to you, to be really proactive, do a lot of networking. And I also took part in a lot of like volunteer programs that were happening in that 3 months duration, to make sure I was enjoying my internship program thoroughly. There were a lot of programs that Microsoft offer, volunteering programs, or a tour to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Lot of opportunities that were provided, and I make sure I was grabbing all opportunities on the way that came.
Got it. I think, yep, this is like really interesting. This really sounds very interesting in terms of how you managed, what things you did like during your 3 months of internship, and you made sure that at the end of the 3 months, you at least get an offer. And definitely, everyone wants to convert their Microsoft internship into a full-time role, and you did that. So now, I think you have almost, it's been 1 year, like you've been working as a full-time in Microsoft, right? So, like, how your things going in Microsoft right now, like all those things, how you're thinking that being into Microsoft specifically as a data scientist, what are your things going on, the different projects? So like, would you like to share anything with with the people like who are watching?
Yeah, so I've actually worked on two projects as of now in Microsoft, and there have been reorgs that are happening, and because of COVID, there were team changes that took place, and everything was work from home after March. So the first problem statement that I worked on was a client-facing problem, where we actually had to detect. So there's one tool for Azure networking called Connection Monitor, which is used to detect network issues for all the Azure networking services. For my so the project that I was given was to see what are the client failures that are seen when a company tries to onboard to Connection Monitor, and how can we help them to resolve their issues in a given service level agreement as soon as possible. So that was the first project that I worked in. The second that I'm currently working on is with the billing team, the network billing team, where we actually, for all the usage that is billed by the networking services, we need to create an aggregation logic, like create a Kusto aggregation logic to see how much a given company used. So this is a very hardcore aggregation problem. If you it involves my work mostly in Kusto Explorer, which is very similar to SQL. And so there have been a lot of parts of it, from defining the end-to-end pipeline in Azure Data Factory, to make sure that you are working to write that Kusto aggregation logic, to sending that usage to the commerce team. So this is the end-to-end pipeline that I'm working on, that we have shipped it to the customer. As of now, we are just making sure if there are any issues that come up, we are ready to resolve those issues. So that is one of the project that my team recently shipped. And yeah, that's about the second project.
Great, great. And like, definitely would love to know, because of COVID, things are not and I don't know how much Microsoft is hiring these days, but would love to know from you, like, what the things you would like to suggest to the audience who want to get into Microsoft in the COVID time, because there might be limited opportunities. There might be like things have changed, everything is virtual. So what do you suggest to the people, like what they should get do, not only in the resume but on the LinkedIn also, or how they should kind of reach out to people in Microsoft like you or other mentors or people who are hiring? So what is your suggestion for the audience out there, so that they can land up an internship or a good opportunity basically in Microsoft?
Yeah. So I would say I would recommend that you use LinkedIn extensively. I landed my first call for Capital One from LinkedIn because I reached out to a principal manager, and she transferred my resume to the hiring manager. So I used LinkedIn extensively to network with all, not only the recruiting officers, but also the principal managers, because they keep on posting regularly for any vacancies. And I would also recommend to actively interact with them, not just for the sake of a job posting, but to involve in whatever in whatever discussions or posts that they are posting, so that, because in the end they are also humans, I mean, and they're like, if a person is actually interacting with them. So my company, like my team itself, we keep on posting job roles, not currently for data scientists, but we are actively hiring for software engineers.
Mhm.
So you can add me on LinkedIn, and I can pass on the code for you if you're interested. And so yeah, I would say I use LinkedIn proactively. Second thing I would say is continue working on your own projects by your own, which are not just the ones that the university recommends you, but also on your own using Kaggle or any other thing, so that so that when there is a data science challenge that comes in, because due to COVID, there are a lot of take home challenges that are given to a person, and they're given like 1 or 2 days to solve that data science challenge. So keep on working on these challenges, and make sure that your resume is up to date and you're networking with the right people on LinkedIn, and make sure you have enabled all the alerts on, say, Indeed or Glassdoor, or all whichever job website that you're using, because and make sure if the post is there, you apply to the post as soon as it becomes active, and do not delay at all, is what I would
Mhm.
recommend.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, definitely, as Chinar said, please reach out to her if you're looking for jobs in, and Microsoft is hiring for software engineers. She mentioned that. So please see if you are looking for jobs and you want a referral or anything. She's more than happy to help you. Last question, I just want to know from you, Chinar, like if you can tell or share some tips around interview preparation or some materials online which you as a data scientist, like because you want to go into it. So how did you prepare, or which online things you used, or what you suggest, because obviously you've been into data scientist from last 1.5 years. So what recommendations you have for the audience so they can go through those materials and kind of use it to do their interview preparations?
Okay. So one thing that is really important is to get the basics right of data science. And there is one book that I actually read thrice. It's called The Introduction to Statistical Learning, ISLR, and it's a very famous book, and it's free. It's available online. You can download it. You can work on the problems. You can work on the theoretical concepts, and make sure you're, not just learning by the theoretical concept, but also actively coding in R or Python. I also took a lot of courses in Coursera by Andrew Ng. There are two courses, one in machine learning, one in deep learning. The other thing so this was machine learning and data science. The other thing that I would recommend is to, if you're planning to get into Fang, is to actively work on your programming skills. There is a book called Cracking the Coding Interview, and there is also a very famous website called Lead Code. And if you're targeting a company, make sure you're solving at least easy to medium level questions of that company, because this comes from personal experience. Because I worked on a lot of problems on Lead Code, I was able to solve the programming question that came up during my interview. So that was programming also keep working on statistical and probability questions. These are very simple questions that you might have, worked on during your board exams, like during your 10th or 11th grade examinations. But you need to keep revisiting them, because there are companies like Microsoft, for sure, they ask you question based on statistics. And it also depends on the company. Like, I interviewed for Capital One, and they had case based studies, so you want to thoroughly see what the company can, the kind of questions the company can ask before you go on for the interview. But these are the three things that I recommend really strongly.
Got it. I think Chinar has given really great tips and right resources, I think, because I knew few of them, like specifically the lead code one which you mentioned and the cracking the interview book. I think they are really, really good for the people who are looking specifically the coding part. So please go ahead and use these resources which Chinar mentioned, and I think definitely it will help you a lot. So before we end this session today, like let's take some questions. If anyone would love to ask Chinar anything or they want to kind of know anything, definitely around Microsoft, she will be more than happy to answer them. But yeah, definitely would like to know if anyone has anything. We would love to ask Chinar.
Yeah, sure.
Let's keep on doing a chat till the time people kind of put that. So like everyone wants to know, like even a lot of people ask me who are freshers, like recently graduated. So for them to get into Microsoft, do you think like, if for example, like definitely internship is one way, but will it's easy, or is it easy to get into the graduate programs also, like just after the as a fresher? Or do you think like it's important to have internships, like too many internships or a Fang internship or something like that, to get into Microsoft as a full time?
So I would definitely recommend, like, while you're on your graduate program, to apply for internships and get a full time working experience, like through an internship before you get to Fang. Because since you do not have enough experience, having some hardcore hands on experience would really help. So try applying for internships and working on internships and academic projects really well, and take part in different competitions, because that gives you an edge when you apply for different internships. And yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Got it. Suggestion. Yep. Okay. Thanks. I think that's really helpful. And on the same hand, for graduate programs also, do we have a like a proper start date and an end date which people should kind of follow, or is it like Microsoft kind of hire 365 days, or is it something they hire just like in May, April, or something like that?
Okay. I can say for the internships,
Hmm.
because that is the time I actually, started
Yeah.
applying. So Microsoft only gives summer internship. It does not have fall internships. You might have heard of it, but that would mostly be for electrical. But if you're considering software engineering or data science and
Mhm.
internships, those are mostly summer internships. So I would suggest that you start applying really early, uh,
Mhm.
towards the end. So I got a call in January itself, and I would recommend that you start applying in September, October of
Mhm.
your just a year before the summer internships. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So, thanks a lot, Chinar, for sharing everything with us. Thanks a lot for sharing your valuable insights around Microsoft with our audience. Definitely, a lot of people have gained valuable insights. How she landed her job in Microsoft, as like how she started her journey as an intern, then how she converted, and it was amazing to hear from you. Like you got a call, you applied today, and you got a call tomorrow. That is like a wonderful thing, which I might have never heard before. That is something really important, and especially the resume tips which you shared, the interview tips, and the free resources. So definitely, please. And also, like you mentioned, that Microsoft is hiring. So people who are looking for full-time roles, specifically the software engineer people, please reach out and see also, because she mentioned that Microsoft is hiring. So it's a good opportunity for people out there. And definitely, thanks a lot, Chinar, again, and happy holidays, and for sure a happy new year. So thank you again for coming and sharing your things with our audience.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. Bye. Take care.